Welcome to the North Shore 9 podcast. I'm Jim. Joining me here at Goodyear Ballpark at the Arizona Fall League is Eric Longenhagen from Fangraphs. Eric, how you doing today?
I'm good.
Yeah.
It's it's the westernmost ballpark here in the metro, and so it's like a haul out here from where I live. But to cash in 3 games is pretty nice, and now it's just about like maintaining some degree of stamina and focus for the third game here before we get going at 6:30 or whenever they end up pushing this to, since they're working on the field now. And yeah, it's been a good fall so far.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed. It's the first time I've been here, and it's been awesome. So, and this is a pretty cool day, triple header. So you get to see everybody all in one day in one place. Don't have to move around, so that's nice. But yeah, again, thanks for hopping on. So let's kind of talk. Let's talk prospects. Last time we had you on was in March, I believe, and we were talking about Konnor Griffin. When we talked about how the changes that he made, the changes that you saw him make in spring training, kind of propelled him up your rankings and what you thought of him. We're a season in. He's now the number one prospect in baseball. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, he's basically been better in every facet of baseball than I thought he'd be from the jump. Entered pro ball basically with like concerns about how much contact there would be, indecision about where he was going to fit on defense, and he more or less solidified, especially on the defensive side. Like what he's doing at shortstop, I think, is very positive. Is he going to have more strikeouts than average big league hitter? Probably, but not to the degree that it's going to be detrimental for his overall offensive success. And so we're talking about like, a monster tooled guy who's actualized that stuff pretty quickly. And yeah, I think, I have him in my top 2 now. You could argue for him or Jesus Made, but Griffin as like a physical entity is so much more mature and polished than Made at this point that, just to be able to see Konnor Griffin competing with big league athletes, I think within the next 12 to 18 months is pretty reasonable. Made, you have to project a little bit more. And so, yeah, like franchise altering player potentially if he hits, if he makes like an average rate of contact like he did this year, then he's going to be a huge deal basically from the jump.
Yeah, I know I mean, just watching him progress throughout the season, it was pretty impressive how well he did. Speaking along the same lines of guys who made just a big jump throughout the season, Edward Florentino, another guy. We've kind of been just begging for some sort of international signing to kind of blossom, and he seems to be that guy. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, I think coming into the year, he was like in the 45 future value tier for me, sort of more like a late first round guy. If you're comparing him with like same age teenage hitters domestically in the draft. And I think, again, like overwhelmingly positive season, guy who swings as hard as he does to make the rate of contact that he has is very, very positive. Snuck him onto like the back of my 100 towards the end of the year, just like pretty obviously a good, well-rounded hitter at this point who, is going to be towards the bottom of the defensive spectrum, but I think he does enough offensively. Now we'll see how much he grows. Is he going to be merely more like an average everyday player, or is there more juice in there? Like as he matures physically, like what might there be from a power standpoint? In his mid to late 20s, that's where there might be like real like all-star level impact. I think that's now in play for him, whereas before it was, okay, this is a well-rounded like first base left field guy. Is he a platoon player? Is he an everyday player? We're sort of in that vicinity, and now it's okay. His trajectory is more solidly an everyday guy, and is there more power in the tank later that could help him be like an impact like 3-win annual player? Seems plausible now.
Yeah. Moving ahead to the Pirates draft this year, Seth Hernandez. I mean, what do you see from him based upon other high school righty power arms that you've seen kind of come out recently?
Yeah, it's definitely in that like tier 1 or tier 2 of of righty high school arms. You know, Hunter Green, when he came out, was uh, sort of in this vein where if you were going to design a guy athletically and physically in a lab to be like, you know, a power pitching top of the rotation guy, like this is what it looks like physically and athletically. The command stuff for Sethi is a little bit dicey, and the fastball shape stuff for him in concert with like the lack of command creates, like, you know, it's not the best. Like we see like with Roki Sasaki, for instance, when the fastball shape is not great and your command is pretty loose, like, this is what happens. Um, and so like there's some risk that for Hernandez, like he'll have to deal with some of that stuff, but um, as an athlete, and his changeup is unbelievable. And you know, I don't know if you guys saw, like they sent him to Dominican Instructs.
Yeah, I saw that.
Um, and so like that one of his outings is on YouTube on like the Pirates DSL. And I was surprised that he was down there just like to see one morning. I like turn on, you know, whatever Dominican stream is on early in the morning for me here in Arizona, and it's like Seth Hernandez throwing 100 past his 16
Right,
17-year-old
yeah.
kids. But just on upside, I mean, like, you know, like the sky's the limit. Would you rather have a guy with like a monster breaking ball than a changeup as the foundation for his prospect? I'm like, you probably would, but you're picking nits at that point. And so I thought it was worth doing what they did. You know, drafting him as high as they did it's not crazy. It's risky, but it's not crazy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Pirates were sellers once again at the deadline. Acquired some talent. Kind of just quickly your thoughts on like Sammy Stafora, Rafael Flores, Jeter Martinez, kind of the three main guys they brought back and added into the system.
Yeah, so Jeter Martinez, you know, big like 6'4" Mexican righty from the Mariners system originally. He struggles to throw strikes, but you know, you see this guy touch 100 and flash a plus slider. Could probably use different, like, you know, physical conditioning program. Maybe there's better control of his body and more strikes through that avenue. Have like a high leverage relief grade on him. Sammy Stafura, pretty polarizing. Like I know scouts who really like Sammy Stafura, who think he could be an everyday shortstop. I have him more like in the utility area. I think he plays a pretty good shortstop. I just don't think he's going to hit enough to be an everyday guy. But there are definitely scouts who do think he will. And then the other one was
Rafael Flores.
Oh, Rafael Flores. Yeah. So Rafael Flores, monster. You know, 6'3", 6'4" power hitting catcher. He's not an especially good catcher. On you know, defensively, he's had issues throwing. But like the types of catchers who break late, who have like a sort of career renaissance in their mid to late 20s. Like I think of Tyler Flowers when I think about guys like this. They're all built like this. Like this is a super physical guy who is built to withstand 100 games behind the dish, taking a beating back there and retaining what he's able to do on offense. For Flores, that's like big oppo power. He's long levered, you know, at his size, it's going to happen. He's going to swing and miss a bunch, but if he can catch, that's fine.
Yeah.
I thought he was a worthy gamble. Like it is, he does have all these late bloomer characteristics that I think, you know, they have the opportunity to let air out and let him get experience at the big league level and see what they can make of him. But yeah, I thought that you know, the Yankees have such catching depth that they've moved on from guys like Flores and Carlos Narvaez, and you can see like with as well as Narvaez did this year, that it's not that these guys are necessarily like nothing burger dudes. They're interesting prospects. All these guys who they've sort of moved on from, because they just have so many catchers on their 40-man. Jesus Rodriguez, who they traded to the Giants as part of the Camilo Doval trade, like another guy like that. I think they did, but yeah, they like. That depth, I think they were, you know, the Pirates, part of the reason they were able to get multiple pieces in that deal, I think, is because like the Yankees just had surplus catching. I thought it was smart to do that.
Yeah. And then lastly, before we let you rest up during this triple header, we're here in the Arizona Fall League.
Yeah.
Valdez and Blanco seem to be making a lot of noise, both with the bat and everything. Yeah, like what are your impressions of those guys, seeing them here?
Well, yeah, Esmeralda Valdez. Definitely, you know, I'm pretty punitive about these righty hitting corner profile guys who swing and miss a lot. he went from something like 30% strikeouts in 2024 to more like 24-25% strikeouts 2025. There are definitely still some swing and miss characteristics that we see here. Even the first week and a half, as he's had like a torrid start to the year. I think he's got like 4 homers in his first handful of games. He has real juice. He has real pull side juice. Like what a fall league looks like for a guy who sort of makes you buy in. Like we've seen the start of that from him. I'm not like all in after a week or anything like that, but definitely like if he's gonna have a good fall and make you say, okay, this for sure has gotten better. He has indeed cut strikeouts, and like this is what it looks like for the first week. And then Blanco's a freak. Like Blanco is a freak sort of to a degree that I've only seen a handful of times doing this. And there's volatility there. He swings and misses a lot. He's missed a ton of time. All of his injuries have been lower body injuries. And as strong as he is, he's in terrible shape. Like he is not conditioned like a pro athlete at all. He's carrying 270 pounds around with like little bird legs. Like his calves and his ankles are so skinny and weird. I really want him and the Pirates to like take strength and conditioning seriously over the next year or two, because what he has in common with the O'Neill Cruzes and Giancarlo Stantons and Aaron Judges of the world, like these peak exit velocities, he does not share physical characteristics with them. Other than that, he's big.
Just big, yeah.
He's really big, but he's not. And there is an element of strength there. Like there's something producing all this power. And part of what is nuts is that like he is so physically underdeveloped and still producing power like this. Like it is kind of crazy, but like just in terms of his conditioning, it is not good. And I am mindful of the fact that all these injuries, Scout told me, he's just like, hey, we have like 5 lower body injuries for this guy in our database. And so there has to be something to that end like done to, and what might come from that is like, I don't know, the idea that he isn't in great physical condition and is still doing some of this stuff is like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm totally excited by him. Even though there's obviously work to do. He's so young. He's barely played. He's probably just scratching the surface. I think that's really awesome. And Will Taylor has some elements of that too. Will Taylor was a freak athlete in high school, and obviously like he's a smaller guy, but Will Taylor, I think it's like he like lettered in baseball 5 times. He won 3 state wrestling titles. He won a football state title as a quarterback, and then played receiver at Clemson. And his whole family, they're all track athletes. And so there's something there too that I think is still just sort of bubbling and percolating and needs time. And he's been hurt and all this other stuff.
He was hurt in college baseball a lot too. Yeah.
Right. He's only focused on baseball for so long. And so, yeah, I think that the crop of position players that they sent out here is among the most exciting and like definitely interesting. Like these guys are developing. They are like hot molten lava magma that is still kind of crystallizing. And
yeah, and even Plaz is who's playing for Scottsdale is kind of along the same lines, where lower level guy, but interesting.
Yeah, Axiel Plaz. I mean, like if you guys are pulling the the Baseball Savant game feeds from these games, they have like the Savant game feed here, but not the bat speed. Like you can look at everyone's bat speed basically through like the box scores on Baseball Savant. And Plaz is, he's one of the best pure bat speed guys in the league as far as just me like combing through and, just like half-ass looking at stuff. But yeah, it just marries with what you see visually from Plaz, which is, he's sort of like a meathead a little bit, like physically. Like
it's more like built like a bowling ball, kind of short.
Sort of like one of these guys
he doesn't miss leg day.
Right, yeah. He looks like a guy who like wrestled in high school or whatever, now is a bouncer at a club or something like that. But yeah, he can really swing, and yeah, he's developing as a defender, but obviously like he swings at kind of everything. And so that needs to get better. But yeah, just from a pure talent bat speed standpoint, the group here, young, exciting. I think the Pirates did a nice job like picking guys to send here. I think it's worth their time from a development standpoint and scouts' time from an evaluation standpoint to see these guys, on the stage with the Charlie Condons and Alfredo Dunos of the world. Like especially like Plaz and Blanco, like the way they stack up physically with these guys, they're looking eye level with that group, I think.
Yeah, awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having
me. Appreciate it, and can't wait to talk later this off season.
Yeah, me too. And I hope you guys have a great time here in Arizona, and that it was worth coming here. Like I think it's
has,
really
yeah.
cool that you guys like kind of brought the caravan down.
Yeah,
And
it's been fun.
yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it.